Talk, man. Turkey Talk Live. Nick King. Here it is, man. So, we're gonna get into this interview. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna talk about this. I want y'all to stay with me. Let's see what Punchin' Curtis King is talking about. Shout out to Curtis King, man. This is a big interview, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I think that a lot of people you know what I'm saying, and also too, I seen Curtis King actually was on he wasn't on there, but Academics was talking about Curtis King. Academics was talking about Jalopy too. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, and again, I don't want to put myself with these guys because these guys they where they at. I'm where I'm at. But it's good to see that people are starting to recognize some of these people because this is a pretty big interview for somebody at his status. You know what I'm saying? You're and I know what's the name? I know Rob, I think it was Rob Martin. I think he did an interview with Kendrick before a while ago. But this is a big thing because you're talking to somebody who's directly linked to Kendrick. It's not like, oh, this guy is directly linked to Kendrick. He worked with Kendrick. He's one of Kendrick's mentors. So him doing this interview is a big deal for content creators like me, Jalopy, Big Kiss, all of us, because, and not to say that it opens the door for me to do an interview with him, but it kind of does, you know what I'm saying? Because people will want to see that. I'm a good interviewer though. So, all right, so let's get to it, man. Let's do it.
Buried alive. I'm not looking. I'm sorry. You were in the middle of a point though. You were landing something.
No, I was just saying how the silence. I think the silence was tough to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not knowing what's going on.
What does that do to someone who is unprepared, you think?
I think it drives paranoia because you don't know what's what.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your mind start doing all sort of things.
Yeah.
Not saying him in particular,
just
but just
in general. Yeah. I'm only asking in general because there's stuff out here. So 616 in LA, I had never seen us in Punch. You know, I saw Jay-Z, I saw Jay-Z Nas, I've seen all these different things play out. I've seen how nasty battles can get in this arena. One thing I have never seen in the midst of a battle is an artist telling his competitor, hold on just a second, I need to say a prayer. At least that's how I interpret 616 in LA.
Crazy.
I don't know if that's a reach. He did do that, but I don't know if he told him to hold on a second, let me do a prayer. I don't know if he actually did that. But as far as I never seen an actual artist tell another artist in a battle that I know everything you're going to do, so don't do it. Because if you do, it's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? I never seen that. And I think what Kendrick did in 616 LA by telling him a lot of everybody around you is basically out to get you. I'm letting you know. Let me talk to you because you my little homie. He called him a little homie too. That's crazy work. You know what I'm saying? So if he did that, I'd never seen that happen in a battle before. And I think that to me was very telling. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going.
6:16 in the morning, a song drops.
Right.
And I just so happened to be getting ready to get my son, take him to school. And I said, hold on, son. The most infamous words Kendrick just dropped that we would keep repeating over the next not even the next few weeks. This man wrapped this whole situation up in 5 business days.
Crazy, right?
That is incredible. But 616 in LA drops, and I think this for me, and I would love to get your perspective, especially at, just on some hip hop shit too. Like 616 in LA is a moment where we see the vitriol sometimes that happens in these battles, and we see where it's like, who can go lower? You go low, I go to hell, type of thing.
Yeah. This
was so unique because I feel like it was so on par with the man that we have gotten to know through his art form, in that, look, God, you know that I'm a work in progress. I just gave you Mr. Morale, which to me now, in perspective, in retrospect, feels like almost like a purging before engaging in such a thing as this.
I mean, I get what he's saying. I also think that 616 in LA is one of those songs I believe that that's one of the most underrated diss tracks of all time. And to me, if you look at the structure of the song, it's probably the best put together song out of the whole battle. And I always come across this because people say, well, what is the better song? Family Matters or 616 in LA? And I say 616 in LA is better than Family Matters because he gives you different versions of the song within one beat. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't understand that. He literally did 3 songs on 3 different type of songs, 3 different flows. You know what I'm saying? And it just was something, it was just different. It was different. It's survivals. I think somebody lying. Smell somebody lying. I don't see no fire. Like basically, like I don't see what you're talking about. Like then he goes into God, my confession is yours. But who am I if I don't go to war? It's opportunity we're living with loss. You know what I'm saying? Like he was really going in on that joint. Yeah. And then of course Drake does a song called Circadian Rhythm. Because Kendrick said it. You know what I'm saying? It's like like, come on, bro. You telling me that Drake ain't taking shots at Kendrick and Kendrick did it. He said a bar about I live in a circadian rhythm of a shooting star, and then Drake does a song called Circadian Rhythm. Like, come on, bro. You can't make this up.
How did you read 616 in LA and what made it unique to you?
So again, everything is wrapped up around this Australia trip.
Right.
After I heard Euphoria, I flew back.
I gotta be here for this.
You're right. I flew back on tour. Euphoria dropped. I don't know. I think it was the next day maybe, or I don't know how long it was after that, but I heard 616 when I was getting off the plane coming from Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, so to me, I just took it as he was telling to think about this whole thing before we go too far.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I took it as. It's like just, think for a second.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you certain things, like really think about where you want to go.
I know I skipped a step, but
That's exactly my sentiment. That's how I felt about him. Me and my boy talked about this. Exactly what I said. I said, he's telling him to chill. Like he told him in Euphoria, but this one is like, I'm gonna go further with this one because I'm gonna tell you that I know what you're going to do. And if he doesn't, like, because Drake is so arrogant. Drake is arrogant. And be honest with you, for good reason, because he's been winning for so long. That's what happens when you win. You become arrogant until somebody comes along and until a Holyfield come along or Buster Douglas. I love Mike Tyson. Don't get it twisted. Mike Tyson is the greatest of all time. But until Buster Douglas comes along and shows you something different, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about this whole situation. Is like Kendrick was telling this man, I know what you're going to do, bro. Like just go a different way. We could have kept this a friendly fade. And what Drake do, it's what narcissistic men always do, what people always do at his status. Don't care and still double down. And what happened? He got the Buster Douglas punch. Oh, you're the best. Better than all the rest. That's Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
To that warning, okay, to that warning, there were certain lines that have been crossed by Drake, in my opinion, and we're especially knowing from where we're from.
Yeah,
and just really just as men in general.
Yeah.
When you get the family involved in some of these narratives, when you literally speak on family and business partners, and you say all of these things that you're saying, I just remember just sitting there shaking my head, and saying, I just don't know if the guy understands who he's in a battle with.
Yeah. But again, I don't think when you're so successful at certain times,
right?
I don't think you see everything. I don't think you take the time to really consider what's what.
You don't think it makes you more care? Because you, I said it before. I seen a picture of you Jay-Z and Bill Clinton.
Right.
And you looking real comfortable because you like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the most elite performers in their arena. You are one of those, right? Like you are, to me, one of those. You when they talk about Barry Gordy, like you have to talk about a lineage of folks who have been able to build and create and help artists along the way. Like what you've done is something that generations will talk about. But you've seen different
Yeah, I will say that about Punch TDE, and I will say that about about Top Dog. I said this before, and I'm gonna say this again. Top 3 record labels of all time, Top Dog Entertainment is definitely in top 3. You got to put them in the top 3. None of their artists have a bad album. Everything they do over there is either classic or really good. None of their artists have a bad album. I haven't heard a bad album from TDE. Not one. And some of the artists I wouldn't say I'm big fans of, but still in all. And they still pumping out great to classic music. You know what I'm saying? Outside of G and X, every one of Kendrick Lamar albums are classic. Ab-Soul got about 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Schoolboy Q got about 2. Doechii has a classic. That's a classic album. A classic album. I'm going to say album. I ain't going to say mixtape. It's a classic. So you got to understand, like, then they got other artists too that they working with. I don't know if he's still on that label or not, but you know what I'm saying? But they've been doing their thing. And I think that they are very good at making moments stick. That's what it is. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of record labels are so consumed by what is today, not actually what it is for tomorrow. And I think Kendrick Lamar was one of those dudes who showed people something with his tomorrow. Schoolboy Q, another one. Schoolboy Q is fire, man. Fire. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what's crazy about Schoolboy Q to me? I always, even though he was never in it, I always feel like Schoolboy Q would have been a good member of the Wu-Tang Clan. I always feel like that. I always feel like Schoolboy Q would have been a very good member of Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
perspectives. And I would assume, being that my money's not like that, that you become more safe or you become more strategic about these moments because of how easy it is to be lost in your own.
Yeah, but again, that comes with your background and your character and who you are. Like, I can't speak for him personally.
Sure.
I can speak for me, and certain things I would look for is based on how I grew up and how I was raised. So I'm always being tuned to certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't say that for everybody because everybody got a different experience. You know what I mean? But what I do know is you can be blinded by so much success at times.
Right.
It's even times when I've been in that situation and have to will it back in. Like, hold up.
Yeah.
Let me get caught up in this. So
That's what Zach. That's 100% facts, and that goes back to what I said about Drake being a narcissist. You definitely can be blinded by success, the lights, the glitz, the glamour, all that. Definitely, and it's, you know, the crazy thing is, money changes people. Money, when you get money, you start to look at things from a different lens because when you didn't have money, you were struggling to make, to get certain things. Now, when you have money, you go to the supermarket, you go to the big aisle. You like, well, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me do this. Oh, I always wanted to get this. You don't stick to your core goals of what you've been doing, your survival mode. Now you like, well, I got $1,000. Yeah, I'm going to Five Guys all week. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that he's absolutely right about that. I think people like Drake, when they get to a certain point, y'all see those movies where with a character, he's a humble guy until he started getting money, and then all of a sudden he's not humble anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden he's doing whatever he wants. Like he's walking like Vince McMahon. You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing this thing. So I think he's right about that. That's 100% facts. Let's keep going.
Thing.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it leads us into probably a moment that some will say for his side was a moment where he, I guess, finally decided to take it serious in some people's eyes with Family Matters. And one that felt a little bit more direct, and one that felt like he was, attempting to, I guess, get into more of his lyricism bag to a certain degree.
Yeah.
The thing that struck me about that song, because shout out to my dog Stevie Crooks. He always says, like, the problem with the audience is that they get too quickly hypnotized by the beat.
Yeah.
And they don't really necessarily pay attention to the things that a lot of us are paying attention to, and they don't see what the substance is. I listened to that and I was like, all right, here we are now 4 songs in, and we talking about Buried Alive, and he still hasn't done the Drake thing.
Yeah.
There's no singing hooks. There's not even a back-to-back or a charged up situation. There's no club records. I know you can't speak for what his strategy was, but how do you interpret seeing that approach now that we're at Family Matters? Because it's a very different approach than you've seen with Pusha T and all these different folks.
All right. Before he answers, I'm going to give my version. The reason why Drake did what he did is because, number one, he had to rap with Kendrick. And I think that he felt as though I can't out club this guy. You know what I'm saying? I can do some club stuff, but that's not going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to beat him at his own game. This is what Drake thought. And I'll get into what Kendrick thought in a second. But I'm going to beat him at his own game. I'm going to rap with him, and I'm going to beat him at rapping. Because this is what a battle is. And plus Drake understands how battle rap is. He's a big battle rap fan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to out rap him. And I'm going to come with Family Matters, and I'm going to do 3 different flows. And I'm going to show everybody that. Now, the thing is, if you listen to Family Matters, he's doing what the battle rappers do. He got punchlines in there. He got a good flow on the second beat. And then it's the third beat, which I think is the best beat out of all of those beats. He's doing what battling do. But see, the thing is, he exhausted himself. It's kind of like, if you ever watch battle rap, if you do everything in the first round, you have nothing else left in the second round. See, what Drake, in my opinion, what Drake should have did was he should have did one song, then waited for Kendrick to drop again, then did another song. He shouldn't did 3 joints in one joint, because now it looks like you have nothing else to say. Obviously, he didn't, because when he came out with the Heart Part 6, he kind of was defending himself because he had nothing else to say. You know what I'm saying? So I think when Drake did those songs, the impact it hit people because the beats were pretty good, but once you broke down the substance of it, it just fell apart. Now, as far as Kendrick goes, Kendrick said, I'm going to lure you in with this rap with Euphoria and 616, and then I'm going to hit you with Meet the Grams, because I'm waiting for you to drop, because I know you're going to do this, and I'm telling you to go a different way, and you didn't. So I'm going to hit you with Meet the Grams, bam. And then I'm going your world, and I'm going to beat you up in your world. And that's what Kendrick did. He was waiting, because obviously he had 5 plus 5. So he had 10 joints waiting to go back to back with him, and Drake just couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up.
I had the same, excuse me, I had the same thought with Family Matters that I did with push-ups. And it was that it's not enough.
It's not enough. What makes it not enough in your eyes?
I think another mistake that they made was giving the idea that they was finna push this red button. So I think when you did that, you built the anticipation a bit too high.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now people have expectation.
Right.
Like, I'm finna hear some stuff now. He finna push the red button. It's over now.
Right.
And when that happened, then what you call it, drop right after.
Well, okay, to that point of the red button.
Yeah.
Y'all stay pretty even keel no matter what's going on. Y'all don't let the elements around you change what your strategy is. in that situation.
Now, as far as that, now I will say this: the red button thing. When he had this Ren and Stimpy and it was a red button on it, and he put that out. Joe Buttons, and I have to put Joe Buttons out there, not in a bad way, but Joe Buttons, he went on his podcast and he said that he heard some shit, and he said it was nuclear, and he said it's gonna get crazy. He said so. People built up the anticipation. Let's get it clear: Joe Buttons is a very prominent figure in this battle. Just like our academics, all these people are prominent figures in these battles. You know what I'm saying? When Joe Button said that, everybody's antennas went up because they thought Drake was going to come with the nuclear bomb. That's what they thought. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he's going to come with the nuclear bomb. You know what I'm saying? But what happened? He didn't. But the anticipation went up and up and up and up. And people was like, oh man, I can't wait to hear what Drake got to say. But then once Euphoria dropped, he took the air out of Drake's sails. He took it out of the room. And then when after that, and then he dropped Family Matters and he dropped Meet the Grams. I think Drake, when he heard Meet the Grams, I think that really messed with his psyche because he realized he was messing with somebody that's not, this is not a Meek Mill type of artist. It's not even a Pusha T. This guy here is, he did 3 songs that doesn't sound nothing alike. Every one of your joints kind of sounds similar. From push-ups to Tailor-Made, your flow is all the same. Everything's the same. And even with Tailor-Made, it was sloppy. You know what I'm saying? But still, no, let's keep it going.
Situation when you hear that, do you think there's a part in Dot that says, all right, it's time to lock in? Or is there like we're doing this, well, let me over-prepare for what that may be? Or is it just, I already know what I am and I'm confident what's about to happen?
The latter part, you already know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, people were saying that wasn't battle tested.
Where did that narrative even, and it came from people who don't battle rap.
They just didn't know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And speaking on things that they didn't know about.
Right.
When I saying that, I'm listening like, hey, all right. I hear you.
Right.
But it's like, Dot was fully prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? With no songs written, he was fully prepared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, man. But it's like, you got the anticipation that his red button, that thing drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. Oh, you got dirty.
Mm.
You went 4. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go further.
And further,
that's what it was. I'm trying to tell you, that's what it was. It's like what? Like, if I tell you repeatedly, over and over again, don't do this, bro, and you do it, what do you think's gonna happen? He repeatedly said this. So obviously this is what happened. So another thing too that I forgot to mention, that today I believe is the anniversary of push-ups. That's so crazy. A whole year went by and we're still talking about this. Yo, come on, bro. Yo, this is crazy. A whole year went by and we still talking about this. This is how you know this is the greatest battle of all time. Kendrick Lamar and Drake have been battling for a year. This is gonna go on for 15 years. I'm gonna tell you, like battles that happened back in the day. They was fighting for 20 years. Wars were happening for 20 years. Like, we still in the war. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy that these two dudes are still going. And even if you're saying that they ain't going back and forth, literally going back and forth subliminally, we gotta admit that. But yeah, man. The anticipation for the red button just didn't, it failed. It's like he pressed it and then didn't do nothing. You know how in movies you press the buttons like a Joker. What? Why isn't this working? Oh my God. Come on. And it goes, boom.
Went, because damn it, after that song, they couldn't even have enough time. There wasn't enough time for them to put a piece in the oven.
Yeah, for sure.
There wasn't enough time to even put a piece in the oven. You couldn't even watch your favorite sitcom because damn near less than 30 minutes later, Meet the Grams happens.
Oh, yeah.
Here's where I, as a listener, say, this is what makes somebody like a Dot so dangerous, is that you I still don't feel like throughout those songs, and maybe you read it differently, I didn't hear an angry Kendrick in that. I heard one that was like, I'm warning you. I'm telling you. Okay, let's have a discussion beyond this show. Let's talk about the person behind this performance. Because now you involving my manager. Now you involving family. Now you doing all of this stuff. Okay, well, let's really talk about you and meet the grams of something where it was like, and some Alchemist beat.
Again, you mentioned the anger, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to an earlier point. That uncles get killed. You had friends get killed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Got jumped. We're talking about records, bro.
Yeah.
So there's no anger there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Battle tested, that's battle tested.
It's battle tested, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It plays a part in your whole mentality. And that goes.
Yeah, that's another thing too. When he's saying, I understand. Yeah, if you think about it, right? And I never thought about it that way. Kendrick Lamar wasn't angry. It just seemed like he was just like coasting, like, yeah, this is light work. I'm about to take your spot and show everybody that I'm better than you. Even though people know I'm better than you, I'm about to prove it. I'm going to show y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how Kendrick Lamar took the game from Drake. And I'm even honest with you, Drake definitely did get the game taken from him. But Drake's been weak for a long time. And people say, well, you waited for Drake to be at his lowest point. Like, it don't matter. That's the best time to strike, nigga. When you at your lowest, I'm gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? You know how women do. When a nigga's down and out, y'all, get up, boy. Yeah, kick him. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. No, I'm playing, ladies. I'm playing. Don't kill me, please.
Into what you do from here on out.
Right.
So you talking about clashing words.
Playing devil's advocate for those who say, well, this the elevated stage that this is being done on does put your legacy out there looking a certain way if it doesn't go. Because we've seen this flip for other people. Like, you know, I hate to use examples, but, you know, the way that it turned for Ja Rule, the way that this could very much be a make or break moment. No different. It's funny, no different from like corporations in that when I think it was Jack in the Box said that they had better fries than McDonald's and they almost went out of business. Yeah. That's when the Jack head exploded in that old commercial. These are very risky moments. And when you're saying certain things about me, about my reputation, not that provokes anger, but at least, you know, that does create a new element of emotion, I imagine.
I understand exactly what he's saying. And the thing is, too, that people got to understand, when you decide to engage, it's over, bro. It's really nothing you can do. I don't care what it is, all fair and love and war. Once you decide to engage, you have to realize that you are putting yourself out there. And the thing about Kendrick and Drake, they both knew the risk versus the reward. They both knew that there was risk on what they were doing. This is the reason why I got much more respect for Drake than J. Cole, because he went through it. And I would even say Drake even knew he was going to lose. He knew he was going to lose to Kendrick because he knows, and deep down in his heart, I don't care what nobody says, this is what I believe, he knows that Kendrick Lamar is a better artist than him. He knows, obviously he knows this because Drake has a bunch of writers. It's not like, oh man, Drake writes most of all his music. He might write some, but you would know that somebody, if that's like me battling a boxer, you know what I'm saying? And he been boxing for 20 years and I've been just shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously I'd be like, yeah, he gonna, you know what I'm saying? I like, he knew. Now I don't know, maybe his arrogance clouds judgment, but he had no choice but to do this because what other thing can Drake accomplish? He accomplished so much in his career. The only thing that he needed to accomplish was to beat Kendrick, and he lost. I have to respect that because that is what you're supposed to do. Even whether we consider him hip hop or not, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to fight back. And he felt like, yeah, well, let's do it. So let's go. And That's what it was. And he lost. You know what I'm saying? He lost. Just what it is. But I understand exactly what they're saying. I understand exactly what he's saying. Some people say maybe it was his arrogance. It doesn't matter what it was. He still did it. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter. And maybe he did think he was going to win. But in my opinion, I know he knew he was going to lose that battle. You can hear it in 616 in LA, in Hard Part 6, how defeated he was. He was defeated in that song. He was defending himself. How you go from being aggressive to defending yourself? That's how you know you lost a battle. He was defending himself like, well, I'm not. That Epstein angle you took, I knew you was going to do that. See, I ain't like that. What I look like? What I look like messing with young girls? Are you crazy? I'm world popular. I would never do nothing like that. But what about you? You got to tell us what you did. How come your girlfriend ain't debate? How come your girlfriend ain't disputing what I said? Like, come on, bro. He lost. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
No, not at all. Unfazed. Okay.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, before that whole battle situation, Dot highest moment commercially was Damn. Like, Humble was a diamond single.
Right.
I think it's almost double diamond. So he experienced all the success you can experience in hip hop.
Right.
At that level, at that point.
Right.
So this battle was just extra. You know what I mean?
It's almost like, you know how they say,
I don't know about that. I think this battle was much more than extra. I will say that this battle to me was a rebirth of Kendrick Lamar in his career. Now, what I mean by that is Kendrick Lamar was already a successful rapper. He was already successful. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm saying that this battle pushed him into a status that most rappers would never get, even higher than Drake, in my opinion. He is, to me, he's bigger than Drake right now. So this battle pushed him above that. And it's not because he battled Drake. It's because of the songs he made. This is what people got to understand. It's not because he battled Drake. It's because of the material he put out. Because people actually dissed Drake before and they didn't go this far. People beat Pusha T beat Drake. He didn't go as far. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. I think that this battle pushed him into a different stratosphere. Now he's like, he went from God level to like celestial level. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. So I understand what he's saying. Of course he was successful, but I definitely think that he's beyond God mode now.
NBA players, you can't be one of the greats unless you get in the slam dunk contest.
Right. That's right.
That's how I kind of read it too. Because I'm like, at this point, we know he is who he is on his own.
For sure.
With the team and everything that's been, like, we know there's no doubt about that. There's nothing about it needs to happen. But you know how the analysts, it's funny how much the shit that's happening in hip hop media mirrors the stuff that happens in sports journalism.
Yeah.
And that if LeBron James loses this game, his legacy is on the line.
Right.
And it's like, we're just going to negate everything else that came up, conveniently negate everything that came before that.
That's human nature, but nah, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your legacy is based on a career span.
Right.
It's not based on one moment. That moment is a part of the legacy, but it's not the legacy.
Okay, so
I 100% agree with that. And I've been saying that for a long time. A lot of people do that all the time. That goes for anything. People do that in everything. One thing destroys your whole legacy. I definitely disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's the case, but to me, Drake had no choice but to try to prevail in this battle because he accomplished everything he can accomplish. But Kendrick Lamar, to me, was on his bucket list of accomplishments. And this is why he's still messed up about it, in my opinion, because he couldn't beat him. And he can't. He would never be able to beat Kendrick. And at this point, not even in the public eye, he can never beat Kendrick. If he come back and do a second round, he will lose even worse this time. He will lose even worse because you got to think about it. Kendrick Lamar is already the unanimous winner. If him and Drake battle again, it's so much more stuff Kendrick Lamar can say now, as far as like from before. Oh, you took me to court over a battle, over a song, dog. You trying to change music in the the music landscape over a battle that you provoked and participated in. Like, are you crazy? Like, he would lose 10 times over. He would lose 10 times over. So I don't think that he would ever say, that's one thing that Drake would never do, is say Kendrick Lamar's name. He would never say Kendrick's name. Ever, ever, ever. He would never, ever say Kendrick's name, ever.
Meet the Grams happens, and oh my God, I listened to that record, and this is where I'm like looking at it, I'm like, to me, it's that Mamba mentality, and it's a reason why when when Dot sat across from Kobe, and Kobe said, you know, who reminds you of yourself in the music form, and he said, of course, Kendrick, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I looked at this and I said, all of those, going back to the moment when I told you, when I heard a record where they all play, everybody in TDE played the role of a different member of Wu-Tang for fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't a record where they were like, oh, we do this, we're going to go crazy on the blogs. And no, that was a record that they did because of the love of the sport.
Hey, that's a song. I was on that song.
You was on that song too.
West
Wait a minute,
Coast
who did you play on that one? Or who was you? You really?
I know I gave him
Girl, I never heard that. I need to go listen. I just said something about that. Yo, I literally just said something about, I think that Schoolboy Q could be one of the Wu-Tang members. And they did a song like that where they played the different members of the Wu-Tang. I need to go listen to that. I'm going to listen to that. Right after this live, I'm going to go listen to that. That's crazy.
Was around for the money.
I know you did. That's why I don't buy it. When y'all hear you talking, I'm like, Punch know he nice. Punch me know he nice. Because I mean, listen.
Also too, before we get back into it, I heard that Punch is not, I never heard Punch rap. And I know that's kind of crazy because I'm all into lyrics. But I heard people say Punch is real nice. I don't know if he got any music. I'm going to go listen to him. I'm going to go look him up.
Like, I was listening to a Room Full of Mirrors record this morning. I was like, it's a certain demeanor, it's a certain confidence that you gotta have to talk like this.
Yeah.
And like I try to tell artists when I do music critiques.
Yeah.
Ali said this too. He was like, there's a certain level of confidence that is built within your silence too. Mm-hmm. A lot of rappers try to overtalk the moment, and those moments where you just like, huh?
You know what it is for me? It was a moment when I was 25. Mm-hmm. And it just hit me that nobody can do me better than me. Mm. Not one other person.
Right.
So I took that attitude and mentality in everything I do.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the track with Dot and Soul or and Light, whoever, yeah, they do all these things, but they can't do me better than me.
Right.
And I'm always stand on that.
It reminds me of.
That's a fact. Nobody can do the Night King like the Night King. You know what I'm saying? Except for the real Night King. Let's keep going.
I don't care how great the players are. Back to the basketball analogies. Phil Handy is going to always have the utmost respect of Kyrie Irving, the utmost respect of LeBron. And no matter where they're at in their career, I need to go talk to him. Not I want to, I need to.
For sure. Because
of the vantage point and the wisdom that comes along with it. But like, don't get it twisted. Like,
right.
I'll be nervous right now. Talking about, hey, Curtis, I need you for a record.
Yeah.
You need me to do what? Right. We got to work today. Okay, cool. Okay, so then we're wrapping it up now to where there's just the battle questions, and I really do appreciate your transparency.
Sure.
Man, that's incredible that I'm talking to you after reacting to all of these clips. And they're like, man, shut up, bro. You ain't gonna get no interview or nothing.
Yeah.
How you feel right now? Stupid. So Kendrick circles a block and comes back with Not Like Us. Mm-hmm. A day after, like I said, this whole thing happened in 5 business days. I don't think people will recognize how quickly of a wrap up this was until we do the 1-year anniversary this next coming week. Not Like Us.
Yeah.
First of all, why do you think people didn't think he was capable of being the one to get a record off like that? Because I heard that narrative a lot, where they were like, "Man, just wait till Drake drops the hit record," and when that.
And that's another thing too that annoyed me. Kendrick Lamar had hit records before Not Like Us. I don't understand why people were saying that. That's the one. Number two, why was y'all waiting for Drake to get a hit record off as if that's going to win? Because people, the thing is, people listen to hits and they don't listen to the substance in the hits. They just listen to hits. They're like, oh, well, Drake, watch when he do. Because if Drake would have dropped Nokia during the battle and he said something about a little bit about Kendrick in it, and it went number one, they'd be like, he messing with Nokia, though, I'm trying to tell you. That's what people do. Like, they're so hype off of him being number one. They don't care about the substance. It's so crazy. So it's like, well, watch when Drake drop a hit. It's like, well, watch when Kendrick drop a hit and the song be fire. But nobody seen Not Like Us coming. I'm going to be honest with you. I never seen that coming. That was like a comet hitting Earth. I did not see it coming. When he did Not Like Us, that was like, whoa. This is beyond what Drake could ever do. Not Like Us was so far ahead of whatever any rapper could do at this point in their career. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, Not Like Us was crazy.
Happens as a rap for you guys. I'm like, you act like this dude ain't the songwriter that you just described in the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah. You know what? Well, somebody made the point. I think it was maybe Ebro or somebody when he said that Drake fans aren't necessarily hip hop fans, and that plays a huge part in it. So a lot of the talking points and ideas is not based on hip hop, but it's based on love for Drake.
Damn. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we love hip hop and we have a certain kinship within that,
right,
we're going to be able to admit where our favorite was wrong at some point.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? The other guy that ain't our favorite was better, or whatever that might be.
He didn't have it that day.
Right. That don't happen with a lot of Drake fans because they love him to death.
Yeah, he can't do no wrong.
And that's just it, which I feel that. Cool.
Right.
Great. But it's like, I think that's where that narrative came from, and it's based on back to back. You know what I'm saying?
The song or the
song.
The song itself, okay.
Drake's song, back to back.
Right.
That's when he got Meek with that.
That's another thing that people was waiting for. They were waiting for Drake to drop a back-to-back. They was waiting for that. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And the thing about hip-hop, you got to understand, the thing about life in general, you never know. With life, things can hit you out of nowhere. I'm telling you, you wouldn't even believe it. You think everything is fine, and out of nowhere, you just get hit. And that's what probably happened to Drake in this battle. I think that he didn't realize the depth of Kendrick Lamar. I think he knew Kendrick and he knew what Kendrick was about, but I don't think he realized like how deep Kendrick can actually go and how fast. Because the running narrative was Kendrick Lamar don't drop enough music fast enough. Oh, he's not dropping fast enough. And Kendrick literally flipped that on everybody. Said, well, I could drop music fast. You know what I'm saying? Because if you listen to GNX and you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, you can understand why Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers took 3-4 years to make, or 3 years to 2-3 years to make. You listen to all the albums, you can see why it took so long to make. Not to say that GNX, because GNX to me is a classic, but you see why GNX came out so quickly, because Kendrick Lamar can do music quickly if he wants to. It just won't be as deep as the other songs. Now, you know what I'm saying? The other albums is way deep, but y'all know what I'm saying. Let's keep it going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people was waiting on history to repeat itself with that joint.
That's why it's so funny when I look at some of the Easter eggs. He said, back to back. I'm going to get back to that for the record. I said, when I see things like that, like, okay, here's a question I have, because, you know, no disrespect to my dog DJ here, but he kind of like killed a lot of the conspiracy theories of like, when he said this, he meant this, and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And he kind of was like, man, he ain't really on all that stuff. And I said, respectfully, Cap, because I've been around y'all. And I've talked to y'all. Last conversation I had when I went to go visit even the homie Daylight, The casual conversations we have are not normal conversations, and I can only imagine what it's like in the family dynamic at TDE. I saw some of these. Y'all are brilliant minds.
Appreciate that, brother.
I don't look at anything of this as accidental. So when I see some of these things, yes, sometimes when it's your time, certain things will connect.
Yeah.
But how much of that do you think was calculated on the part of Kendrick?
Super calculated.
Right.
Yeah, you calculate a lot of things. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cap and say that everything was,
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Because some people just reach and they figure, I'm looking at stuff, I'm like, come on now.
Right. But the majority of the things are calculated, are taken into consideration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all are well worked. Y'all are well read. Y'all well versed. The kind of references that I heard you even bringing up today about the Egyptians. I'm like, you casually say that.
Right.
This is what drives all of the energy with it. Like, nah, he meant that. Nah, run it back. Run it back. That's
All right, so look, I'm gonna come back with another part. I'm not gonna do the other part on the live because I gotta get out of here. But yeah, man, let's talk for a second. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. Thank y'all for everybody for joining. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do a live every week. This week coming up, I'm probably not gonna be able to do one, but you know what I'm saying, I'll do one. I'll probably do one again. But anyway, this was a good interview by Curtis King. Go watch the whole thing. It's actually about 3 hours long, and I didn't want to sit on here and do that. You know what I'm saying? That's too much. But yeah, go check it out. I think y'all enjoy it. You should watch it in segments if you could. You know what I'm saying? But as far as Punch, TDE, and what he said about the whole thing at the end there, where he said, or he asked the question of, is some of these things planted, and then some people are reaching. I think that Kendrick Lamar is smart enough to put things in place where you might seem like you might think it's a reach now, but in the future it probably turns out to be true. He's all we ever wanted in a hip hop artist, as far as conspiracy theories go, as far as different things where he pieced things together. He's just very good at what he does, and his team is very good at what they do, and they keep people engaged. So thank y'all for joining me with this live. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. See y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.